What if everything you thought you knew about size, time, and distance was only a fragment of a much larger story? What if the miles we measure, the hours we count, and the worlds we see are nothing more than a whisper against the true scale of the universe? Out there, space stretches across billions of light years, where stars are born and die in silence, galaxies drift apart, and time itself bends under the weight of motion and gravity. In this journey, we'll explore the unimaginable size of the cosmos, the strange flow of cosmic time, and the vast distances that defy language. From the speed of light to the emptiness between galaxies, we'll travel across scales so immense that human thought can barely hold them. And yet, within this immensity lies us, tiny, fragile, but capable of wonder. From our little world, it is easy to forget how much we cannot see. We live surrounded by familiar scales, tables and chairs, mountains and oceans, cities and continents. We measure our lives in feet, meters, kilometers. These numbers work just fine for cars on a road, ships on a sea, even airplanes climbing into the sky. But in the theater of the cosmos, these measurements crumble into meaninglessness. A grain of sand at arm's length can cover an entire galaxy in the night sky. Imagine that, a tiny fleck of Earth's crust, blocking out a collection of hundreds of billions of suns, each one larger and brighter than our own. The universe is not built for our sense of scale. It stretches, folds, and expands into realms where language bends and comprehension falters. Yet here we are, trying to measure it anyway. Our eyes evolved for survival, not for cosmic truth. They are tuned to the scales of forests, rivers, prey, and predators. A star may seem like a pinprick in the sky, no brighter than a lamp in a distant window. Yet that pinprick is a furnace so massive it could swallow millions of Earths whole. A galaxy appears as a faint smear of light, fragile, almost forgettable, yet it is a sprawling nation of stars, stretching for 100,000 light years across. We are not built to perceive the cosmos directly. Instead, we are forced to rely on imagination, mathematics, and machines. Telescopes become our extended eyes, equations our extended language. They carry us where the senses cannot. They remind us that the small is not always small, and the faint is not always fragile. How do you describe something so vast that the number itself becomes a wall? We can say the Milky Way has 100 billion stars, but what does that mean? A billion is already too large for the human mind to truly grasp. We imagine piles of money, cities of people, but these analogies collapse quickly. Why numbers like trillions, quadrillions, or sextillions become abstractions. Astronomers learned long ago that to make sense of scale, we must surrender familiar units. Kilometers and miles give way to light years, distances defined not by rulers, but by time itself. 1 light year is nearly 6 trillion miles. Already, our earthly sense of measurement is gone. Already we step into a space where time and distance blur together, where size itself becomes a language of metaphor. To understand the unseen, imagine climbing a ladder. At the bottom rung is Earth with its mountains and oceans. The next rung is the Moon, just a few 100,000 kilometers away. A distance that feels vast until you climb higher, to Mars, to Jupiter, to the icy rings of Saturn. Then you climb again, to the outer planets, the Kuiper Belt, the edge of the solar system where Voyager drifts into the dark. But the ladder does not end. Beyond are the nearest stars, light years away. Climb higher and stars group into constellations, into clusters, into sprawling galactic arms. Higher still, galaxies themselves become specks, clustering into webs and filaments stretched across the cosmos. Step by step, rung by rung, we ascend through orders of magnitude, each one dwarfing the last, until Earth, the entire Earth, shrinks into invisibility, less than dust. The scale of the unseen is not a single number, but a hierarchy of wonders. Each layer is so vast compared to the one below it that to imagine both at once feels impossible. We are always looking upward, always recalibrating what we mean by large. From our vantage point, the stars seem fixed. They hang in their patterns like lanterns nailed to the sky. But this stillness is an illusion born of scale. Stars move at tremendous speeds, tens of thousands of kilometers per hour, but across such colossal distances, their motion becomes invisible to us. Galaxies collide, stars orbit, black holes devour matter in spirals of light. Yet from Earth, these dramas appear frozen. What we call silence is really a symphony too vast to hear. What we call stillness is motion, stretched across millions of years. The universe hides its scale not only in size, but in time. What does it mean to be small? Humanity has wrestled with this question for millennia. Ancient cultures placed Earth at the center of everything because it felt reasonable to believe the cosmos revolved around us. Then came Copernicus, Galileo, Kepler, and Newton, who showed that Earth was not the center, but just another planet circling an ordinary star. Even then, the scale of the unseen pressed forward. The Milky Way revealed itself as a galaxy among galaxies, and then as one thread in an even larger tapestry. At every step, the cosmos seemed to grow, while we seemed to shrink. Yet this shrinking is not defeat, it is perspective. To be small in a vast universe is not to be meaningless, but to be part of something that transcends measurement. Scale is not only about the large, it is also about the small. The same telescopes that show us galaxies also turn inward toward atoms, molecules, and particles. Inside each human body are trillions of cells, each one a world of its own. Within those cells, molecules fold and dance in structures invisible to the naked eye. Within those molecules, atoms hum with quantum possibility. The scales of the universe meet in us, cosmic dust forged in the hearts of stars, arranged into living matter capable of wondering about the stars themselves. We are ladders of scale, turned inward, galaxies of cells bound together by the gravity of consciousness. To live in this universe is to live in proportion. Everything we touch, everything we see, exists in relationship to something larger and something smaller. A drop of water mirrors an ocean, a planet mirrors a star mirrors a galaxy. We are always between scales, suspended in a middle ground that allows us to look both ways, down into the unseen small and up into the unseen vast. This is not a flaw in perception, but a gift. It means that wonder is always available no matter where we look. Why do we stretch our minds against these impossible scales? Why insist on measuring what we can never touch, never hold? Because scale humbles us, and in that humility lies wisdom. To realize that Earth is a pale blue dot is to realize that borders are illusions, that our divisions are fragile, that our time is precious. The unseen teaches us to see ourselves clearly. To measure the cosmos is to measure our responsibility to one another and to our world. The vastness is not meant to crush us, but to expand us. And still we have not reached the end. There is no end. Every telescope that peers deeper reveals more. Every calculation pushes the horizon farther away. The unseen keeps stretching, swelling, hiding just beyond reach. Yet perhaps that is the point, that the cosmos is not something to be finished, but something to be entered into, an endless dialogue between the seen and the unseen, between the smallness of us and the vastness of it all. Here we are, fragile creatures of dust and time, looking up, looking out, looking in. The unseen scale of the universe is not a barrier, but an invitation. An invitation to wonder, to imagine, to accept that some truths are too vast to hold and too beautiful to ever stop chasing. When you look up at the night sky, you are not looking at what is, but at what was. Every star, every faint shimmer, every galaxy blurred into the darkness is a message carried across the void, written in light, delivered after journeys so long they stretch imagination itself. Light is not just brightness, it is history, memory, messenger. To gaze at the stars is to gaze into time. The nearest star to us, Proxima Centauri, sits just over 4 light years away. That means the glow we see tonight left its surface more than 4 years ago, traveling at the fastest speed the universe allows, yet still delayed, still echoing from the past. Our own sun shines in real time, more or less, but even then, its rays take 8 minutes to cross the gulf between star and planet. The warmth you feel on your skin is the memory of nuclear fire that blazed minutes ago. When you look up at the Big Dipper, at Orion, at the band of the Milky Way itself, you are peering into ancient hours, centuries, even millennia. And when telescopes capture light from distant galaxies, they are reading events that unfolded billions of years before Earth itself was born. Light does not simply illuminate, it reveals a time machine hidden in plain sight. What makes light extraordinary is not just its speed, but its patience. A photon can be born in the heart of a star, hurled outward at the speed of light, and travel across space for billions of years without ever slowing, without ever tiring. Across unimaginable distances, across silent voids, it carries its story faithfully, waiting only for an eye, a lens, a sensor to receive it. In this way, the night sky becomes a library, every star a letter, every galaxy a book, every photon a word etched into the fabric of time. We are not just observers of the cosmos, we are readers of its memoirs. But photons do not only show us brightness, they whisper details. A rainbow split by a prism is not simply color, it is code. The pattern of light reveals temperature, composition, motion. Astronomers have learned to read these patterns like sentences, decoding the chemical fingerprints of stars, the velocity of galaxies, the structure of the universe itself. Through light, we know that stars are made mostly of hydrogen and helium, burning in nuclear fusion. Through light, we know that galaxies are rushing away from us, their glow stretched into redder wavelengths. Through light, we discovered that the universe itself is expanding. Light is both messenger and message, its journey and its structure telling us truths we cannot touch directly. If you watch a sunset, you are watching light bend and scatter. Blue light is deflected by the atmosphere, leaving only deep reds and golds to reach your eyes. The same principle, writ large across the universe, tells us whether a star is young or old, whether it blazes with hot blue intensity or cools into red exhaustion. Even galaxies carry these colors. Young galaxies sparkle with blue stars, fierce and short-lived. Old galaxies glow with the steady red of ancient suns. The universe paints its own portrait in colors invisible to our eyes, but revealed through instruments. And beyond the visible, there is more: radio waves, infrared, ultraviolet, X-rays, gamma rays. Each band of light offers another layer of the story. Our telescopes are translators, teaching us to see beyond our fragile human spectrum, expanding vision into wavelengths that reveal hidden truths, nebulae glowing in infrared, black holes blazing in X-rays, the afterglow of the Big Bang humming in microwaves. Time and light are inseparable. One defines the other. When we speak of a light year, we speak not only of distance, but of duration. To cross 1 light year is to spend 1 year in the journey. To cross 1 billion light years is to drift through 1 billion years of time. Thus, when we see a galaxy 10 billion light years away, we see it not as it is, but as it was 10 billion years ago. We do not yet know what it has become. Light is always late, always delayed, always showing us a history we cannot alter. This delay is not a flaw, it is the only way we know the past. Without light's memory, the universe would be a blank silence. But even light has limits. The universe is 13.8 billion years old, which means the farthest light we can see has traveled for that long. Beyond that horizon, there are places we will never witness, no matter how powerful our instruments become. They are not hidden by distance alone, but by time itself. Light from those regions has not yet arrived and may never. The cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang, is the oldest light we can see. It is a baby picture of the universe, frozen when it was just 380,000 years old. Beyond that, the darkness remains silent. Light has no story to carry from before that moment. Not all photons complete their journey. Some are swallowed by dust clouds, absorbed by matter, pulled into black holes where no signal escapes. In these cases, silence itself becomes a kind of message. The absence of light marking the presence of something so powerful, it devours even the universe's fastest travelers. In this way, darkness is not emptiness, but information. It tells us where stars are being born behind veils of dust. It tells us where galaxies collide in hidden violence. It tells us where black holes bend the very fabric of space. For all its grandeur, light has always been personal, fire guided our ancestors through darkness. The sun marked our days. The moon reflected borrowed light to soften the night. Candles, lanterns, bulbs, all human history is written in our quest to capture, tame, and extend light. And now, that same light carries us into the cosmos. Telescopes gather it, detectors count it, satellites orbit to escape the blur of atmosphere and see clearly. Our greatest discoveries, exoplanets, distant galaxies, the expansion of the universe, are not journeys of touch, but of light. When we speak of seeing, what we really mean is receiving photons that have wandered through space and time to reach us. Sight itself is cosmic. There is a reason we use light as metaphor. We speak of enlightenment, of illumination, of clarity. Light represents truth because it literally reveals what was hidden. It brings the past into our present. In a sense, to be alive is to be in dialogue with light. Every sunrise is a reminder of our star's steady fire. Every night sky is a reminder of cosmic patience. Every flicker, every shimmer, every ray that touches our eyes is a messenger from a journey too long for us to follow. And so the night sky is never still. It is a river of photons streaming endlessly toward us, each carrying stories of where and when they began. We cannot stop them, we cannot alter them, we can only catch them, study them, and marvel at the fact that they made it here at all. Light is the reason we know anything beyond our planet. It is the reason we can measure, imagine, and wonder. It is the single thread connecting us to the farthest galaxies, the earliest stars, the beginning of time itself. And every night, as we stand beneath the stars, we stand in that river, bathed in messages billions of years old. In those photons, the universe speaks. And in listening, we become part of the story. In the human imagination, movement feels limitless. We are creatures of motion, born to walk, to run, to cross rivers and climb mountains. We built ships to sail across oceans, trains to race across continents, planes to rise above the clouds. And in the last century, we left the ground altogether, launching rockets to slip free of Earth's gravity. It feels as though speed is only a matter of invention, a faster horse, a stronger engine, a better design. But in the vast arena of the cosmos, we discover something unexpected. There is a boundary we cannot cross, a wall not made of stone or metal, but of the very laws of nature. The universe, vast and empty as it seems, enforces a speed limit, and that speed limit is light. Light moves at 299,792 kilometers per second, nearly 300,000 kilometers every heartbeat. In the span of a single second, a photon could circle Earth 7 times. Nothing in the universe outruns it. Rockets may grow faster, engines may grow stronger, but all must bow before this speed. The speed of light is not just a number. It is a boundary woven into reality itself, a law written into the fabric of space-time. It is the pace at which causality, cause and effect, event and consequence flows. To go faster would not simply mean breaking a record, it would mean breaking the order of time. From the earliest days of flight, humans imagined going faster. Jules Verne dreamed of cannons that could hurl men to the moon. Engineers in the 20th century imagined nuclear engines, antimatter drives, even warp concepts to chase the stars. Science fiction gave us starships that leapt across galaxies in the blink of an eye. But reality is harsher. No matter how we design, no matter how we burn fuel or bend physics, the closer we push toward light speed, the heavier our ships become. Mass itself grows, energy demands skyrocket, until acceleration grinds toward impossibility. The dream of outrunning light fades into silence, leaving us humbled by the cosmic governor written into nature. Consider what this means. Our nearest star system, Alpha Centauri, sits just over 4 light years away. At light speed, the journey would take more than 4 years, but no human craft has ever come close. Voyager 1, the fastest object ever to leave the solar system, drifts at just over 17 kilometers per second. At that pace, it would take more than 70,000 years to reach the nearest star. Distances that look gentle on star charts reveal themselves as gulfs of time. Even at nature's speed limit, the galaxy is too vast, the universe too immense, for travel to ever be simple. It was Albert Einstein who revealed why. His theory of relativity showed that as you accelerate toward light speed, time itself begins to shift. For you, time slows. For others, you appear to move closer and closer to the frozen edge of the possible. The faster you go, the harder it becomes to go faster still. At 90% of light speed, your mass nearly doubles. At 99%, it increases more than 7-fold. At 99.999%, energy requirements soar to infinity. The finish line recedes forever ahead, unreachable. Light does not simply move quickly, it moves at the only pace the universe allows for ultimate motion. Everything else must fall short. And so, the paradox, in a universe governed by speed, we are slow. The Earth spins, the Earth orbits, the solar system drifts around the galaxy at hundreds of kilometers per second. But still, we crawl compared to light. Every message we send across the solar system is delayed. A radio signal to Mars may take minutes to arrive. A command to a probe at Jupiter may take nearly an hour. By the time our words reach the outer planets, the situation may have changed entirely. Space exploration is always delayed, always reactive, because light itself dictates the rhythm. The cosmos is not a place of instant connection. It is a place where patience is required, where every action waits for light to carry its echo. And yet, even within this limit, wonders unfold. Time dilation, slowed time for the traveler near light speed, is no longer fiction but fact. Astronauts on the International Space Station, orbiting at 7.6 kilometers per second, age slightly more slowly than those of us on Earth. The effect is tiny, measured in milliseconds, but it is real. Push further to near light speeds, and time for the traveler stretches dramatically. A journey that feels like years for the crew may mean centuries for those left behind. Light speed makes the universe unreachable in one sense, but in another, it bends time into strange shapes, offering glimpses of possibilities where travelers and observers no longer share the same clock. Some mourn this limit, dreaming of ways around it, wormholes, warp drives, shortcuts through dimensions. Perhaps one day such dreams will step from speculation into discovery. But for now, the speed of light remains absolute. And perhaps there is beauty in that. Without limits, the universe would collapse into immediacy, its mysteries revealed all at once. With limits, there is patience, curiosity, struggle. The cosmos does not give up its secrets easily. It demands effort, creativity, and humility. The speed of light may bar us from instant travel, but it also turns the night sky into a time machine, lets us see galaxies not as they are, but as they were. What seems like a wall is also a window. Even here on Earth, we live by this law. Fiber optic cables pulse with light, carrying our words, our images, our thoughts across continents. Satellites beam photons between ground stations and orbit, weaving the planet into a single web of light-speed messages. We may not cross the stars, but we have bent light to carry us across our world. In a sense, we already live in a civilization built on chasing photons. So we accept it. Nothing outruns light, not rockets, not ideas, not even imagination can quite escape its rule. The universe is vast and we are bound within its pace. But in that pace there is poetry. Every beam of starlight, every radio signal, every photon racing across the void obeys the same law, linking galaxies to galaxies, stars to planets, people to sky. We may never break the speed of light, but perhaps we were never meant to. Perhaps the gift is not in reaching everything quickly, but in learning how to live within the rhythm of the universe, measured not in rush, but in patience, wonder, and light. We measure our lives in meters, miles, and minutes. The walk to school, the drive across town, the flight across a continent, all are scales that fit comfortably inside the human mind. But space has no interest in fitting comfortably. Out there, in the silence between stars, distance grows so vast that our words, our numbers, even our imagination begins to falter. We try to speak it, trillions of kilometers, quadrillions of miles. But the numbers swell beyond usefulness until they are not measurements but abstractions. The cosmos asks us to measure in a new language, one born not from rulers or odometers, but from time itself. The moon feels far, 250,000 miles, yet close enough that astronauts once made the journey in days. Mars feels like another step out, tens of millions of miles, demanding months of travel. Even these numbers strain us, but at least they remain imaginable. Now stretch further, the outer planets billions of miles away. Voyager, humanity's furthest emissary, has taken nearly 50 years just to step beyond the solar system's edge. Still, even that journey is a whisper compared to the gulfs beyond. How do you speak a distance that would take light, moving at the fastest pace the universe allows, years, centuries, or millennia to cross? The words mile and kilometer wither in your mouth. Language fractures under the weight of space. Astronomers invented a new unit, the light year, not a measure of space, but of time. How far does light travel in a single year? Nearly 6 trillion miles, a number already too large for comfort, yet small compared to the cosmos. The nearest star, Proxima Centauri, is over 4 light years away. Imagine traveling at the speed of light and still needing more than 4 years to arrive. Imagine walking, flying, or sailing instead. The journey stretches into absurdity, into impossibility. A light year is not a convenience. It is a necessity, a new way of thinking. The cosmos cannot be captured in the language of miles. It must be spoken in the language of time. 1 light year, 10 light years, 100. Even these are crumbs in the galactic scale. The Milky Way itself stretches for over 100,000 light years. From one edge to the other, light takes longer than all of recorded human history to cross. And beyond our galaxy, the Andromeda Galaxy sits more than 2 million light years away. Already, the numbers drift into surrealism. 2 million years ago, humans did not yet walk the Earth. Yet even then, the light now reaching us had already begun its journey, threading across the void. Andromeda is just the nearest large galaxy. Others lie tens of millions, hundreds of millions of light years away. The Virgo cluster, the Laniakea supercluster, distances so large they defy even metaphor. To speak them is to speak in poetry, not numbers. At the largest scales, galaxies arrange themselves into webs and filaments, sprawling structures of matter and emptiness, stretching across billions of light years. These are not neighborhoods, but nations of galaxies, their threads spanning distances too immense to map in human terms. Stand back far enough and the universe resembles lace, an intricate pattern of glowing strands with dark voids in between. Each strand, each filament is millions of light years thick. Each void is a gulf so empty that entire galaxies could drift inside without ever meeting another. We do not live in a universe of modest spans. We live in a universe where emptiness itself has a scale so immense that it becomes another kind of presence. The farther we look, the further back in time we see. Distance in space is never just length, it is duration. To look a billion light years away is to look a billion years back in time. The galaxies we see are not as they are, but as they were. This creates a strange truth. The universe we see is never the universe that is. We are always chasing shadows, echoes, histories. Distance and time fold into one another until the distinction disappears. What lies beyond the most distant galaxies we can see? We cannot know, because their light has not yet reached us. Distance itself becomes a horizon, not just of space, but of possibility. Even light year begins to crumble at larger scales. Astronomers speak of parsecs, megaparsecs, gigaparsecs, units designed to tame the infinite. But no matter what units we invent, the truth remains the same. The cosmos is too large for human tongues. We resort to metaphors. If the sun were a grain of sand, the nearest star would be several miles away. If the Milky Way were shrunk to the size of North America, our entire solar system would be smaller than a coin. These comparisons help, but they are fragile bridges, small comforts in the face of immensity. How should we respond to such distances? Some shrink from them, feeling insignificance. Others embrace them, seeing wonder. To live in a universe where distances defy language is to live in a universe that refuses to be small enough for our pride. The distances do not belittle us. They invite us to imagine larger, to stretch our minds beyond survival and into awe. If we cannot cross them, we can still measure them. If we cannot hold them, we can still speak them, however imperfectly. And yet, even in such immensity, we find paradox. For while galaxies sit millions of light years away, the photons they send fall gently into our eyes every night. While the cosmos sprawls across incomprehensible scales, it reaches us through simple beams of starlight, through telescopes on mountaintops, through satellites drifting above our world. In one sense, the universe is impossibly far. In another, it is here, now, present in every photon we receive. Distance defies language, but closeness requires none. There are places we will never touch. Even if we could travel at light speed, the expansion of the universe itself pulls galaxies away faster than we can follow. They recede beyond reach, forever cut off by the growth of space-time. The cosmos does not only stretch in size, it stretches in possibility. There are distances not only unimaginable but unreachable, a truth as humbling as it is profound. Some parts of the universe are lost to us forever. And yet what remains is not despair, but invitation. Distances that defy language are not barriers but horizons. They remind us that the universe is not a solved puzzle, but a living mystery, that there will always be more to see, more to measure, more to wonder. To live in such a universe is to live in story without ending. Every telescope we build extends the narrative, pushing the horizon a little further, finding new ways to speak the unspeakable. And so, even as language fails, imagination rises. Numbers may fracture, but wonder holds. The cosmos, with its distances beyond words, becomes not something to conquer, but something to revere. We live by small clocks. Hours that divide our days, calendars that divide our years, birthdays that measure our lives. Even history, with its centuries and millennia, still folds neatly into pages and paragraphs. To us, time feels vast when it stretches beyond memory, but in the scale of the cosmos, our clocks are fragile toys. The universe keeps time in spans that make civilizations vanish into a blink. Continents drift like passing clouds, and entire species appear and vanish like sparks in a fire. Cosmic time does not count in decades, it counts in eons. The depth of time begins at a single moment, 13.8 billion years ago. A flash of expansion, a universe unfolding from nothing, space and time born together in an instant of unimaginable energy. The Big Bang was not just the birth of matter, but of time itself, the very first tick of the cosmic clock. From that moment, the universe has been aging, not in seconds or minutes, but in epochs. The first second of physics settling, the first 3 minutes of elements forming, the first hundreds of millions of years when stars ignited and galaxies blossomed. Our calendars shrink to irrelevance here. The early universe does not measure time in days, but in thresholds, when light could first travel, when atoms first held together, when darkness gave way to stars. To understand cosmic time, look to the stars. Each one is a clock, burning through its fuel at a pace set by mass and gravity. Small stars, faint and steady, can live for trillions of years, longer than the universe has existed so far. Large stars, furious and bright, live fast and die young, collapsing after just a few million years. Through their lives, deaths and rebirths, stars become the heartbeat of cosmic time. Their explosions seed the cosmos with heavy elements, making planets and people possible. Their light crosses the dark, allowing us to see not just where but when they existed. Stars are not only markers of space, they are milestones of time. Turn inward, and the Earth whispers its own vast timeline. 4.5 billion years old, it carries memory in its rocks and oceans. Continents once joined drifted apart, mountains rose and crumbled, seas filled and emptied, all on scales too slow for any single human to see. Life itself tells time in epochs. For billions of years, only microbes lived here, invisible architects building the oxygen atmosphere we now breathe. Dinosaurs ruled for 160 million years, an empire of time compared to our brief history. And then, only 200,000 years ago, modern humans appeared. In cosmic time, our entire species has existed for less than the blink of an eye. We are latecomers to an ancient world. Time, we discover, is not uniform. Einstein revealed that gravity bends it, that speed alters it, that clocks tick differently depending on where they are. Near a black hole, time slows so dramatically that an hour outside could mean years elsewhere. To travel at near light speed is to stretch time itself, aging slower than those left behind. Cosmic time is not a steady metronome. It is elastic, distorted, woven into the very fabric of space-time. To measure it is to measure the shape of reality itself. How do we comprehend billions of years? Our minds are wired for short spans, for harvests and winters, for lifetimes measured in decades. To imagine even 1,000,000 years is difficult, let alone 1,000,000,000. And yet the rocks beneath our feet are billions of years old. The sunlight warming us left the sun's core hundreds of thousands of years ago, only now escaping its outer layers. The galaxies we see are snapshots from billions of years in the past. We are surrounded at every moment by deep time, unfolding, patient, indifferent to our scales. Our entire written history is a sliver, 5,000 years, less than a breath in cosmic terms. The Roman Empire rose and fell in seconds compared to the age of the Earth. The pyramids were built yesterday on the cosmic clock. Shakespeare wrote his plays in the time it takes a star to flicker. We measure our importance in centuries, but the universe measures in billions. And yet within that smallness lies something extraordinary: awareness. The universe has lasted for nearly 14 billion years, but only now, in our brief moment, has it begun to reflect on itself. The depth of time does not end here. The universe is still young, barely a third through the lifespans of the smallest stars. Billions of years from now, the sun will swell into a red giant, swallowing Mercury and Venus, perhaps Earth itself. Galaxies will collide and merge, stars will die, black holes will devour matter, and even they will fade as time stretches into near eternity. In some distant epoch, trillions of years hence, the universe may go dark, stars extinguished, galaxies scattered, matter dissolving into silence. Time will continue, even then, though there may be nothing left to mark its passage. To confront deep time is to confront ourselves. Our lives are short, but they burn brightly against the backdrop of eternity. Knowing that we are late arrivals in an ancient cosmos does not diminish us, it sharpens us. It reminds us that every moment counts, that meaning is made not by length but by intensity. We may not command billions of years, but we command the present. In our brief spark, we see more of the universe than any generation before us. We stand at the intersection of cosmic past and cosmic future, holding the knowledge of both. We speak of time as if it moves forward, but in truth it is we who move. Through the river of moments, carried along whether we will or not. The depth of F-time is not only in billions of years, but in every heartbeat, every sunrise, every orbit of Earth around the sun. The vast and the intimate are mirrors of each other. To live is to borrow time from eternity. To wonder is to place our brief flame within the endless dark. And to measure the cosmos is not to diminish ourselves, but to expand the meaning of what it is to be alive. And so time stretches before us, behind us, around us. The universe has been here long before we arrived, and it will continue long after we are gone. But in this small window, this fragile interval, we are awake. We can see and measure and marvel. The depth of time is not meant to be solved or conquered. It is meant to be felt, like standing at the edge of an ocean and knowing the water has no end. To live in such a universe is to live in humility, but also in wonder, for even though our time is short, it is part of the great unfolding, and that is enough. Stand under a clear night sky and you feel it. The illusion of infinity. Stars stretch in every direction, galaxies gleam faintly in the dark, and the mind begins to imagine that space goes on forever. And in a sense it does, but there is a hidden truth: we cannot see it all. The universe has a horizon, not of walls or edges, not of barriers or fences, but of time itself, a boundary woven into the fabric of light and causality. Beyond that horizon there are galaxies, stars and worlds we will never see, not because they aren't there, but because their light has not had enough time to reach us. The cosmos may be infinite, but our view is not. A horizon is not an ending, it is a limit of sight. When you stand on Earth and gaze at the sea, the ocean curves away, vanishing into distance. You know the water continues, but you cannot see beyond that edge. The horizon is not a wall, it is a perspective. The same is true in the universe. Space extends far beyond what we can witness, but like sailors watching the sea, we are bound by what light has delivered to our eyes. Beyond that, the cosmos remains hidden, not by absence, but by delay. The universe is 13.8 billion years old. That number does not just describe its age, it describes the radius of our vision. Light has had 13.8 billion years to travel since the Big Bang. Nothing older, nothing farther can reach us. And so the observable universe stretches roughly 46 billion light years in every direction when you account for cosmic expansion. That is our cosmic horizon, a bubble of visibility. Beyond it, the universe may continue endlessly, but we will never know. Our vision is not infinite, it is bounded by time. The most ancient light we can see is not starlight, but the afterglow of creation itself. The cosmic microwave background, faint radiation stretched thin by expansion, arrived from when the universe was own laws. 380 million years old. Before that, the cosmos was too dense, too hot for light to travel freely. This faint glow filling every direction is the ultimate photograph of the early universe, a horizon not just of distance but of origin. Beyond it, the universe existed, but it was hidden in fog, impenetrable to photons. It is the edge of sight, the farthest wall of the cosmic sea. But the horizon is stranger still. Because the universe expands, galaxies are carried away from us faster and faster. Beyond a certain distance, their speed exceeds even light's ability to bridge the gap. Their photons stretch into infinity, never arriving. This means that some galaxies are lost to us forever, not because they have vanished, but because space itself grows between us faster than light can cross. They are retreating behind a curtain we cannot draw back, no matter how advanced our instruments become. The horizon is not static, it grows, shifts, recedes. It is a living boundary, shaped by the rhythm of cosmic expansion. Imagine it, galaxies filled with stars, planets, perhaps even civilizations, drifting irretrievably beyond reach. Their light will never touch us, their histories will never enter our skies. They will live, burn and fade in silence, invisible to all but themselves. In this way, the horizon is not just a limit of vision, but of connection. The universe is full of places forever severed from our awareness. They may as well not exist to us, though we know humbly that they do. And yet there is a strange beauty in this. Horizons do not diminish wonder, they ignite it. The sea's horizon calls sailors forward. The cosmic horizon calls thinkers, dreamers, explorers to imagine what lies beyond. We will never see those hidden galaxies, but in imagining them, we participate in the grand mystery. Horizons remind us that we are not at the center, not in control, not massed. But participants in a reality larger than our grasp, What lies beyond the observable universe? Perhaps more galaxies repeating endlessly, perhaps regions where physics itself is different, other universes, other laws, other beginnings, perhaps infinity. We cannot know, and perhaps we never will. But there is a paradox here. Our ignorance is part of the truth. The horizon is not failure, it is definition, a reminder that we are bounded and that knowledge itself has edges. To accept that is not despair, but wisdom. The universe beyond the horizon exists. It does not need us to see it to be real. Horizons exist within us too. There are places we cannot go, futures we cannot predict, mysteries of mind and meaning that recede no matter how we chase them. Just as the cosmos hides beyond the reach of light, so too do we carry unseen territories within. The cosmic horizon is a mirror of the human condition. We see far, but not infinitely. We know much, but not all. We live in partial vision, in fragments of truth. And yet that is where meaning lives, not in completion, but in pursuit. Our instruments grow stronger, our telescopes peer deeper. Soon, new observatories will see the faintest galaxies, the earliest stars, the glow of creation more clearly than ever before. Each advance pushes the horizon back, not by removing the boundary, but by showing us more of what lies within it. The horizon always recedes, the mystery always grows. The farther we see, the more we understand that there is more beyond. This is not frustration, it is the essence of discovery. And so, here we are inside our bubble of light, floating in a sphere 93 billion light years across. It feels immense, and it is, but it is also small compared to the whole. The horizon does not belittle us, it frames us, it gives us a place in the cosmos. Not everywhere, but somewhere. Our task is not to own the infinite, but to marvel at it, to see, as far as we can, to imagine farther still, and to accept that the universe is always larger than our eyes, our minds, our reach. The universe does not end at the horizon, it continues unseen, unmeasured, unimagined. The horizon is not a wall, but an invitation to wonder, to dream, to accept our limits and still push against them. Every photon that reaches us is a victory against the dark, a messenger that has crossed billions of years to expand our sight. Every telescope that peers deeper is an act of defiance against silence. Every horizon is a reminder that mystery is endless. We may never see beyond the cosmic edge, but perhaps that is what makes the story beautiful, that there is always more, hidden just out of reach, waiting in the vastness beyond the bend of time. When we look around our world, scale feels familiar. Mountains tower, oceans stretch, clouds billow overhead. To us, these are giants. Yet in the cosmic story, they are small, fragile ripples in a sea of enormity. For beyond Earth lies a ladder of size so staggering that every step transforms our sense of what is great, what is tiny, and what is possible. In the universe, there are giants, worlds, stars, galaxies so vast they strain imagination. And there are ghosts, objects so faint, so insubstantial that they drift almost invisibly, shaping the cosmos without ever shining. To walk the ladder of size is to discover both extremes, the colossal and the elusive. Begin close to home. Earth, to us, feels immense. 12,742 kilometers across, a sphere holding oceans, mountains, forests, and life. But compared to its neighbors, Earth is modest. Jupiter, the gas giant, swells to over 11 times Earth's diameter, holding enough volume to swallow 1/300 Earth's whole. Saturn, with its luminous rings, is only slightly smaller, yet its mass and reach dominate its corner of space. Even moons defy expectation. Ganymede, circling Jupiter, is larger than Mercury. Titan, Saturn's golden moon, carries rivers and lakes of methane beneath its thick atmosphere. Our Earth, grand as it feels, is but a middleweight in the planetary realm. Now leave planets behind and consider the Sun. A glowing sphere of plasma, it dwarfs every world in its care. Over 1 million Earths could fit inside it. Its surface seethes at thousands of degrees, while its core burns in nuclear fire, fusing hydrogen into helium at a rate that releases more energy every second than humanity has ever produced in all of history. And yet the Sun is ordinary, a yellow dwarf, average among its peers. Look beyond, and stars swell to inconceivable proportions. Betelgeuse in Orion stretches nearly 700 times the diameter of the Sun. If placed in our solar system, it would engulf Mercury, Venus, Earth, and even Mars. Scuti, one of the largest known stars, would stretch nearly to Jupiter's orbit. These are true giants, burning brief, spectacular lives before collapsing into cataclysmic supernovae. Stars, like people, live in many sizes. Some flare brilliantly and die young, others burn dimly and endure for trillions of years. But even the largest star is only a flicker compared to what comes next. Step back farther, and stars gather into galaxies. The Milky Way, our home, holds perhaps 200 billion stars. It spans 100,000 light-years across, a swirling disk of arms filled with dust, gas, and stellar nurseries. To cross it at light speed would take longer than all of recorded human history many times over. And yet the Milky Way is average. Andromeda, our nearest galactic neighbor, stretches larger still with 1 trillion stars. Beyond them, galaxies grow titanic, elliptical giants swollen by countless mergers, each glowing with the light of trillions of suns. Galaxies are not solitary, they cluster together, drawn by gravity into swarms. The Virgo cluster, just a neighbor in cosmic terms, holds over 1,000 galaxies. Clusters bind into superclusters, strands in the cosmic web. The largest known structures stretch for billions of light years, lacework woven of galaxies like beads on a thread. At this scale, stars themselves become invisible, mere grains of dust in the body of a galaxy. What once felt like a giant, the Sun, Betelgeuse, Scuti, is reduced to a whisper. And yet, not all giants shine. At the hearts of galaxies lie black holes, some millions, others billions of times the mass of the Sun. These monsters devour gas, dust, stars, even entire solar systems, bending space-time so completely that not even light can escape. Paradoxically, though they are black, they are not always hidden. Matter falling into them glows ferociously, forming blazing quasars that outshine galaxies. For a moment in cosmic time, these ghosts become the brightest objects of all. Dark matter, too, is a kind of ghost. Invisible, untouchable, it outweighs ordinary matter 5 to 1. Though it never shines, its gravity sculpts galaxies, holds clusters together, and shapes the cosmic web. Without it, the universe would be formless. Giants of silence, ghosts of gravity, they define the cosmos without ever being seen directly. This ladder of size humbles us at every rung. Earth shrinks before Jupiter. Jupiter vanishes before the Sun dims before Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse dissolves into invisibility within the Milky Way, and the Milky Way itself becomes just a spark in the Virgo supercluster. No matter how large something feels, there is always something larger, always another rung. The cosmos teaches us that greatness is always relative, always provisional. Even the largest known structures, the filaments of the cosmic web, are still only part of something larger we cannot yet see. But giants are not the only lesson. Ghosts haunt the opposite extreme, the faint, the tiny, the overlooked. Brown dwarfs, failed stars that glow only weakly, rogue planets drifting alone through darkness without a sun, dust clouds that drift for millions of years, invisible until starlight catches them. Even light itself carries ghosts, photons from stars that died long before they reached us. When you look up, you may be seeing the last echoes of suns already gone, Gosun. Chats of brilliance still traveling, still speaking, long after their source has faded. Where do we fit in this hierarchy? We are not giants, nor entirely ghosts. Our planet is small, our lives brief, our voices faint compared to cosmic thunder, and yet in another sense we are immense. We carry within us atoms forged in giant stars, dust recycled from ancient galaxies. We are walking evidence of cosmic size and cosmic time. Though our scale is small, our awareness stretches across the ladder. We can measure the size of a proton and the breadth of a supercluster. We can name the giants and infer the ghosts. We, small as we are, can perceive the vast. That is our miracle. The giants remind us of power. The ghosts remind us of mystery. Together they teach us humility. The universe is not made for our proportions, yet we are capable of reaching beyond them with mind and metaphor. Perhaps that is why we look up, to be reminded that greatness is not about size alone, that even a ghost can shape galaxies, and even a speck of dust can contain life. In the end, the ladder has no final rung. For every giant we find, there may be something larger. For every ghost we chase, there may be something fainter. The universe is not finished. It is always stretching, always surprising, always revealing new scales of being. We live in between giants and ghosts, large enough to perceive, small enough to wonder. And in that balance, we find our place in the story. We like to believe that time is steady, that every second ticks by the same for all of us everywhere, no matter what. Our clocks insist on it, their hands moving in perfect rhythm. Our hearts insist on it, beating moment after moment. But in the universe, time is not a metronome. It bends, it stretches, it twists under motion and mass. Time does not move with one rhythm, it dances. This dance is not something we invented. It is something woven into the fabric of space-time itself. And once you see it, the illusion of ordinary time dissolves into something stranger, deeper, more beautiful. For most of history, time was thought absolute. Isaac Newton called it the same for all things. He imagined it as a great invisible river, flowing steadily, carrying everything with it. But in the early 20th century, Albert Einstein shattered that vision. His theory of relativity revealed that time is not separate from space. It is bound to it, part of a single fabric called space-time. And in that fabric, motion and gravity bend the flow of time itself. The faster you move, the slower your clock ticks. The stronger the gravity, the slower time flows. Suddenly, time was not universal, it was personal. Each observer carries their own tempo, their own dance of seconds. Imagine two twins, one stays on Earth, the other boards a spaceship and travels near the speed of light. Years pass for the traveler, yet when she returns, she finds her twin has aged decades more. This is not fiction, it is fact, proven by experiment. Particles accelerated to near light speeds decay more slowly than identical ones at rest. Atomic clocks flown on planes tick differently than those left on the ground. Time dilation, as it is called, is not imagination, it is measurement. Motion slows time, speed becomes a kind of lever, bending the rhythm of existence. For the traveler, time feels normal. For the observer, it stretches. Two truths, equally real, diverging in the dance. Gravity, too, changes the beat. Near a massive object, a planet, a star, a black hole, time itself slows. Stand at sea level and you age slightly less than someone standing on a mountaintop because you are deeper in Earth's gravity. Near a black hole, the effect grows extreme. Imagine circling close to the event horizon. Minutes pass for you, while centuries pass for those far away. Time itself stretches into silence, every second weighed down by gravity's pull. Einstein showed us that gravity is not a force pulling objects together, but the bending of space-time. Time slows because space-time is curved. The dance is not metaphor, but geometry. What does this mean? That the universe does not keep a single steady beat. It keeps countless beats, each tied to perspective. For us on Earth, time flows one way. For an astronaut, another. For light itself, time does not flow at all. Photons experience no passage, no delay. For them, emission and arrival are the same instant. The cosmos is not one song, but a symphony of rhythms, each shaped by speed and mass. To live in such a universe is to accept that there is no single now, no universal present. Each of us lives in a slightly different slice of time. In our daily lives, the dance is subtle. The slowing of time at airplane speeds, at mountain altitudes, is measured in billionths of a second. Yet even this small shift matters. GPS satellites orbiting Earth tick at different rates than clocks on the ground, slowed by motion, yet quickened by weaker gravity. Without correcting for relativity, GPS would fail within minutes, our maps and navigation collapsing into chaos. The dance of time and motion is not just cosmic. It touches your phone, your car, your every movement. The universe bends time everywhere, and our technology depends on acknowledging the bend. Relativity sounds strange, but it carries beauty. Time is not rigid, it is flexible, alive, dynamic. It changes depending on how you move, where you are, how deep you fall into gravity's well. This does not mean chaos. It means order of a deeper kind, a universe not bound to one clock, but to a harmony of clocks. Each observer carries their own measure, and all measures are true. Truth becomes relational, perspective becomes reality. The dance of time and motion is not contradiction. It is elegance. Nowhere is the dance clearer than near a black hole. Imagine watching a spaceship descend toward the event horizon. From your perspective, the ship slows, its clocks ticking ever more slowly. its signals stretching into redder wavelengths until they fade into silence. To you, the ship never crosses the horizon, it freezes in time. But for the traveler aboard, time flows normally. They pass the horizon in minutes, falling into darkness, never aware that from the outside their journey has become eternal. Two perspectives, both true. The universe allows both realities to exist at once. Time, in this dance, is not universal, it is intimate. What does this mean for the cosmos? That the age of the universe, 13.8 billion years, is not the same everywhere, that galaxies moving at great speeds, stars orbiting close to black holes, planets deeper in gravity wells, all experience time differently. The cosmic story is not written in a single timeline, but in overlapping, braided threads of duration. Even the expansion of the universe bends time. Distant galaxies recede so quickly that their clocks appear to us slowed, their light stretched. We see them as they were billions of years ago, frozen in youth, even as they continue to age in their own rhythm. The universe does not tell one story, but many. There is something deeply human in this cosmic dance. We too live in relative time. Me. Our days rush when filled with joy, drag when filled with sorrow. Our memories fold and stretch, our sense of time blurs in moments of wonder or grief. The physics of relativity is not metaphor, it is reality. But it also mirrors the truth of experience. Time is never the same for everyone. Each life moves to its own rhythm, each perspective holds its own measure. The universe confirms what the heart already knows, that time is not absolute. And so time is not a ticking metronome but a dance. Slowed by motion, stretched by gravity, bent by the shape of space itself. Light moves timeless, gravity moves patient, motion moves playful. Each participates in a choreography too vast for us to fully grasp, yet visible in every orbit, every photon, every clock. We live inside this dance, carried by it whether we understand it or not. Our steps may be small, but they are part of the rhythm. And in acknowledging it, we join the music of the cosmos. Time does not move evenly. It sways, bends, and waltzes with matter and motion. The universe is not rigid but alive. And in that truth, we discover not limitation, but beauty. When we think of space, we think of stars, galaxies, planets, of brilliance scattered across the dark. Yet the truth is the opposite. Most of the universe is not filled with light, but with silence. Not with matter, but with near nothingness. Emptiness is not the background of the cosmos, it is its substance. And this emptiness, though it feels like absence, has its own scale, its own weight, its own meaning. To measure the universe is to measure the void, the vast stretches between suns, the oceans of dark that dwarf every island of light. The universe, more than anything, is space. Look at the night sky. The stars seem crowded, packed together like grains of sand, but this is illusion. Each pinprick of light is separated from its neighbor by light years of emptiness. If the sun were the size of a marble, the nearest star would be another marble placed hundreds of kilometers away, with nothing in between but blank air. Our solar system, too, is more void than substance. The planets orbit in seemingly neat arrangement, but their spacing is vast. Jupiter, colossal as it is still separated from Saturn by hundreds of millions of kilometers of emptiness. Even the asteroid belt, often imagined as a crowded minefield, is almost entirely empty. You could fly through it for weeks without seeing a single rock. Emptiness is not the exception, it is the rule. Now step outward. The Milky Way, with its 200 billion stars, looks like a shining disk, but between each of those stars stretch light years of nothing. Our closest neighbor, Proxima Centauri, is over 4 light years away. 4 years of travel for light, the fastest traveler of all, just across the gap between suns. Multiply this across billions of stars, and the Milky Way reveals itself as more void than presence. A scattering of luminous islands adrift in a sea of absence. And beyond our galaxy, galaxies themselves are islands. Between them stretch millions of light years of emptiness, gulfs so immense that even light takes eons to cross. The cosmic web, the grand structure of the universe, is not filled with substance, but with voids, great hollow spheres, hundreds of millions of light years across, where almost nothing exists. In these vast cavities, matter is so sparse that entire galaxies vanish into silence. But emptiness in space is not the emptiness we know on Earth. Even in the most perfect vacuum we can create in laboratories, trillions of molecules still linger in every cubic centimeter. In the void between stars, there may be only a few atoms in the same volume. In the void between galaxies, fewer still, perhaps one atom per cubic meter. Space is not empty because it lacks everything. It is empty because what remains is vanishingly rare, a single atom drifting alone in a volume larger than a house, a lonely particle traveling years before encountering another. The emptiness of the cosmos is not absolute, but it is close enough to earn the name. And yet nothing is never truly nothing. Quantum physics whispers that even the vacuum seethes with activity. Tiny particles flicker in and out of existence, virtual pairs appearing and annihilating in less than an instant. The vacuum is not dead. It hums with invisible possibility. This quantum restlessness may even shape the fate of the universe. Dark energy, the mysterious force driving cosmic expansion, may arise from the energy of empty space itself. In that sense, emptiness is not absence, it is power. The void does not just frame the universe, it propels it. We, creatures of matter, struggle with emptiness. We build, we fill, we measure by what is present, not what is absent. Emptiness feels like loss, like lack, like failure. And yet the cosmos insists that emptiness is essential. Without it, stars would collide, galaxies would collapse, life would never breathe. It is the distance between that makes harmony possible. The pause between notes that makes music, the space between stars that makes galaxies shine. In this way, the universe teaches us that emptiness is not meaningless. It is the structure that allows meaning to exist at all. Imagine drifting in intergalactic space, far from any galaxy. Around you stretches nothing, no stars, no planets, no warmth, a silence so profound it feels alive. Here, the nearest star may be millions of light years away, the nearest galaxy, a faint smear in the distance. You would be surrounded by the deepest emptiness possible, a void where even light grows rare. And yet, even here, photons from ancient galaxies still pass, crossing the void for billions of years. Even emptiness carries messages. Even the dark is not entirely silent. The irony is this: though emptiness dominates, it does not erase abundance. There are more galaxies than grains of sand on Earth's beaches, more stars than all the words ever spoken by human mouths, more planets than we can ever count. And yet all of this majesty floats in a backdrop where emptiness holds the greater share. The universe is both full beyond measure and empty beyond comprehension. To accept both truths at once is to see reality as it is, infinite presence, infinite absence, bound together. For us, emptiness is not only out there, it is within. Atoms, the building blocks of our bodies, are themselves mostly empty space. The nucleus of an atom is tiny compared to the vast void around it, where electrons drift. Matter itself is built from absence. We are emptiness given form. The same truth that defines galaxies defines us. Emptiness is not outside, it is the foundation of existence itself. So how do we measure emptiness? Not in numbers, but in perspective, by recognizing that absence is not nothingness, but possibility. By seeing that voids shape the universe as surely as stars do. By understanding that without the silence, there can be no song. The measure of emptiness is not despair, it is wonder. It tells us that space is not crowded, but open, not full, but vast, that the universe is more immense than we can imagine, and more mysterious than we can ever exhaust. In the end, emptiness is not the enemy of existence, it is its companion. The void gives room for matter to gather, for stars to shine, for galaxies to grow. It provides the stage upon which all cosmic drama unfolds. To live in such a universe is to live in tension, between abundance and absence, between light and dark, between fullness and emptiness. We are children of both, made of atoms that are mostly void, living in galaxies that are mostly space, peering into a cosmos that is mostly nothing. And yet here we are, awareness rising out of emptiness, looking back at the void and calling it beautiful. Here we stand on a small world orbiting a modest star in a galaxy that is one among trillions. By every measure of size, time and distance, we are fragile, fleeting, almost nothing at all, and yet we look up. We measure the immeasurable, we dream beyond horizons. The human horizon is not defined by how far we can go, but by how far we dare to imagine. In a universe that stretches beyond language, where time folds into billions of years and emptiness outweighs matter, our greatest act is not travel or conquest, it is wonder. Earth is a pale blue dot, suspended in the dark, wrapped in a thin atmosphere no thicker in scale than the skin of an apple. Every story ever told, every empire ever built, every love ever felt has unfolded here in this delicate shell. Compared to Jupiter, we are tiny. Compared to the sun, invisible. Compared to the Milky Way, less than a speck. And yet on this speck, awareness has bloomed. Out of dust and chemistry, life arose. Out of life, consciousness. Out of consciousness, curiosity. The universe has taken 13.8 billion years to give rise to a creature who can look back at it and ask, what am I part of? This fragile place we hold is not weakness, it is miracle. The human horizon has always moved outward, first across plains and mountains, then across oceans and continents, then across the sky into orbit and onward to the moon. Each horizon seemed final, until it wasn't. Now our machines drift through the solar system. Voyager has crossed into interstellar space, carrying whispers of humanity etched in golden records. Telescopes peer farther than our eyes ever could, capturing galaxies billions of light years away. Each invention is a step, not just across distance, but across imagination. Our horizon is not static. It grows with every question we ask, every risk we take, every dream we allow ourselves to follow. And yet there are limits. The speed of light, the vastness of emptiness, the expansion of the cosmos itself. There are places we will never touch, galaxies we will never see, futures we will never reach. But perhaps this is not defeat. Perhaps this is the gift, that the universe will always be larger than us. That wonder will never be exhausted, that we will always have horizons no matter how far we go. Even in limitation, there is infinite possibility. Not all horizons lie in space. There are horizons within us too. The mysteries of mind and memory, of consciousness and meaning, of love and loss. Just as galaxies recede beyond reach, so too do parts of ourselves remain hidden, awaiting exploration. The human horizon is double, outward toward the stars and inward toward the soul. The two journeys mirror each other, both endless, both profound. To know one is to deepen the other. We are the only species, as far as we know, that builds instruments to measure the age of galaxies, that invents numbers to describe distances trillions of miles long, that names stars and charts their courses. We stretch language until it breaks. We stack numbers until they collapse into abstraction, all to reach just a little farther, to see just a little more. This is not survival, it is something else, a hunger not of the body, but of the spirit. The human horizon is the horizon of wonder itself. Yes, we are small. Yes, our time is brief. Yes, our planet is fragile. But smallness is not insignificance. It is sensitivity. It is the ability to notice, to cherish, to marvel. The sun does not wonder at itself. Galaxies do not measure their own spirals. Black holes do not write poems about the silence they create. Only we do. Only smallness can see greatness. Only fragility can treasure strength. Our horizon is not to dominate the cosmos, but to witness it, to be the eyes, the voice, the awareness of a universe that otherwise would go unspoken. With awareness comes weight. To be conscious in such a universe is not just privilege but responsibility. We are stewards of a rare world, caretakers of a fragile home. If Earth is our launch pad into wonder, it is also our anchor. The human horizon must include not only how far we can see, but how deeply we care for the ground beneath us. In protecting our small world, we protect the possibility of continuing to gaze outward. What horizons lie ahead? Perhaps colonies on Mars, cities under alien skies, perhaps telescopes powerful enough to glimpse the light of the first stars, perhaps messages from other beings, or the quiet realization that we are alone. Or perhaps the greatest horizon is not technological, but philosophical, learning to live within our limits, to find meaning not in what we conquer, but in what we contemplate, to see ourselves as participants, not masters, in the cosmic story. The horizon does not end with travel, it continues with thought, with imagination, with wonder. So here we are, small, fragile, brief, and yet infinite in our reach. For every horizon we meet, another waits. For every mystery we solve, another deepens. The cosmos is endless, and so is our hunger to understand it. The human horizon is not the boundary of what we can see or where we can go. It is the boundary of what we can dream. And dreams, unlike light, know no limit. Stand once more under the night sky. See the stars scattered like diamonds, the galaxies glowing faintly, the void stretching endlessly. Know that you are small, know that you are fragile, but also know this: you are aware. You are the cosmos looking back at itself, through eyes made of stardust, through a mind born of time. The horizon is not out there alone, it is within you. And as long as you wonder, as long as you imagine, as long as you lift your gaze to the stars, the human horizon will never end.